United Kingdom, at that continental level. These guys are real up-and-comers. I mean, Christopher McGlinchey, the rider out of Ireland, has had a top 10 result at the An Post Ross, which is basically, think of the Tour of Ireland. It's a long-running race over there. So these guys are up there in the mix, picking things up now out on this first lap. All right, we're well over halfway through this first lap around Central Park. This is one of the classic courses here. One of our friends at Zwift, Mike McCarthy, who was a world champion in the professional pursuit. They raced for 5K. He did that in the early 90s. This is where he grew up riding on these very roads that these guys, and they race out there well, not today, but I'm glad we get to on Zwift. Everything all together. We're watching Adam Kenway here, the Vetus rider, one of the strong riders on that it's an up-and-coming team, and he's one of the riders that's going to be making a mark in the sport, Nathan.
Yeah, we do see Kenway moving his way back up into the field. I think maybe caught out for a moment there, was not expecting perhaps the kind of effort up and over the top, maybe not knowing the course that well as, either, as they dropped into those lower parts, not knowing that it was going to kick that strongly early on, maybe just not positioned correctly in preparation for that section of the course as they make their way back to the front of the pack. Now going to secure his position here, most likely. And look, though, this has really been whittled down already. Looking through here, was not expecting this many riders to be in this kind of a situation already, unless there's a breakaway off the front that I'm unaware of. Cunningham here, as you can see, currently, no, I do not believe so. This has just been absolutely whittled down already. Big breaks early on now, as you do see Edward Zimmerman on the left-hand side of the screen, making his way toward the middle of the pack. Now, Guidry now from WTR, Worthington BRT, as well as T-Day moving away forward. So taking over at the front, though, it is going to be in the gray kit here, actually. Unfamiliar with this rider. Interesting. This is a new rider I have not been familiar with here. Vang Zait, I believe is how I'm going to pronounce it, coming out of Israel, I believe. And then it's going to be Simon there from Team Turbo right next to him. Messinio's in here as well, the Poison Dart Frog from Argentina riding for Team ZF. Team Zwift Fitness, actually. Recently I saw some announcements, well, maybe not full-on announcements, but they have definitely been looking to get more involved in the esports side of things and have been developing their own team really centered around what I would call their GC rider, Leandro Messinio, and he's been recruiting a lot of Argentinians we've been seeing showing up. Conte would be one of them, I believe, there toward the front from Team ZF as well, as he takes over at the front at 3.5 watts per kilogram. Definitely, though, as we do see these numbers, things have calmed right on down after those initial attacks and the initial split here in this race here, Dave.
Yeah, they certainly have, Nathan. As we take a look again at this group here, I wanted to mention to folks, if you want to follow along with the GC or the points here, go to zwiftpower.com. And then on the top of the page, you'll see leagues. And that's where you can go down. And there's right at the top, because it's numerical versus alphabetic, you get a chance to see the 3R, and you can see the GC or the points there. And that gives you a good feel for the riders to watch. Now, Nathan, correct me if I'm wrong, but seeing a name like Boniface not in our top 10, well, he did score points. So what would have happened with Brett out there? He's one of the strongest racers. I've really picked up on what a talent he is, but I've never seen him outside the top 10. Any explanation for that one? Do you remember?
Well, I think he was really focused in last week on the final round in the Callis Cup, I believe. So perhaps
that's
not putting his full
Yep.
effort in, putting a full effort down, maybe working for a few others in the team perhaps too. I mean, they do have a lot of talent on the Dropouts team. Obviously, we saw with the interview last week with Mike Schwartz that there's a focus on the depth of the team there. I don't think that it's just all about the Brett Boniface show. And Boniface is definitely one who likes to sacrifice for the team, I believe. There's a real good team ethos there. I believe that they really are.
Good for them.
There isn't this one-man show in any kind of way whatsoever, and you can really sense that in the team car. When the team wins, everybody wins, and that was really cool to see with their Discord channel and the way they interact. A lot of teams are like that, though, too. The Zwift community, when it comes to racing, it's far and few between that you find those teams that are not so much one for all in all for one kind of a situation, that's for sure, because of the way that Zwift interacts. And usually, to be honest, when you do find the ones that are just that are a little bit more egocentric on one individual, you tend to maybe find a couple of things going on in the background with their setup too. It seems like, I don't know why those go those go hand in hand, but they tend to be going hand in hand. And a lot of times though too, the internal government, when it comes to even like in real life cycling, right? Where does in real life cycling doping start? With internal government of your team, right? From the government and the internal,
absolutely.
Right? That's where it starts. And
so the guys that you share your room with, they're going to be the first.
The standards, right, Dave? The standards that the whole team is our big deal. And so
there's an
when
ethos.
you walk into a team that don't have standards, you're going to end up with some faulty situations too, I think, as well. So well-oiled machines take a certain kind of management as well, and a standard of ethic, I think, too. So it's cool to see all the teams stepping up. Dropouts, obviously, just one of them we're highlighting right now.
I agree. I think that one of the other differences here is that it's easier to share the wealth in this situation rather than riding for a commercial sponsor where they, if you have the pressure from brand X saying we need you to win in New York and we need you to win in London, and then all of a sudden you start saying, all right, who's our best guy? And everyone ride for him every week. And you keep going to the same set list. Whereas here, these guys have a chance to mix it up. They don't have to answer to a corporation as to how they're racing. They answer to each other. And I think that's so organic and cool to race that way. It goes back to how we all started in the sport, right? Racing with your friends or getting on a club and just finding your way. All right, picking up the vanguard here, 2 riders away. It's going to be Brett again. So we've talked a lot about him, and we'll continue to. As you start identifying the stars in the sport, this is certainly one of them, Canadian Boniface, but Nathan, he's got a strong man with them here, and they're opening up quite a gap. This is going to be interesting. All right, early in the race, they're out on the second lap now, and we got ourselves a jailbreak.
Yeah, and this is a situation, this is the section, of course, where you can make something happen on that little bit of an uphill grind after lap 1. Going through, that was the lap finish banner that we went through next to the start pens there for just a moment. Now we're going to go along the skyline a little bit here. But, the reality is that this section of the course has some uphill grind a little bit into a very fast downhill where if you are willing, you can put some serious speed, but the reality is that if the pack wants to chase you down after that uphill grind, they can very quickly do so. I believe this is going to come back. Now, if, though, the pack is not motivated to put out more than 4 watts per kilogram on this downhill, this could be a threat, because I believe Boniface and the rider that he's away with may have the ability to hold a solid 67 watts per kilogram on this downhill. Then they can keep it a little bit more steady and then head into that uphill grind that we saw last lap. You can see in the upper right-hand corner here, I'm going to go ahead and mess with the mini-map a little bit so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. There'll be a couple little S-bend turns here in just a moment. They're going to go downhill into an extremely fast downhill section. The pack will bring a lot of speed up and a lot of time back through that section. You'll see the green jerseys come back to them. If they do not close it down through that, and they're able to hold at least 2 to 3 seconds as they go into the uphill and then kick, they may bring a couple across with them. If they hold on to this gap, though, it's going to be about holding on to the gap. And really, this isn't about a 2-man break. This is about causing a 5 to 6-man break that brings a couple across. But they have to hold on to some meters between them and this pack before they hit that sharp uphill grind that's going to be at them in about a K.
It was 9 riders that finished in the front group after 55 minutes of racing last week. It was Guveras first over the line. Hodges was there. Lau was there. Adam Zimmerman and Spencer Segovers, 2 of the strong Americans, the Canadian Gilbert. As you mentioned, Argentina represented. That's Messanillo, Scott Gleason, also the American, and Hodges out of the United Kingdom. That's going to be. Now, Nathan, we finally settled this Hodges. Are they brothers or not? Because unless one of them changed his nationality, that would answer that. I finally have my clue. I can't believe it took me that long to figure this out. But James Hodges from the United Kingdom, Brian Hodges from the United States. I think that settles that.
It probably does. Now, he did say that they're messing with us then, because I swear they said that they were I think we're getting trolled in chat now, because they're like, no, we are brothers.
No doubt, yeah.
No, we are brothers. No, we're not brothers. Who knows anymore? I mean, anyways, we
have fun with it for sure. They're both strong.
They are both extremely strong and have a turnover, and you would think that the genetics were there because of that to be similar. But now, quick little shout out here, though. I have an O Boniface 10 years old, hanging out on course in the D category. Check this out. Cool to see. Also coming out of Canada. Here's a relation, most likely. Now, Brett has just been caught, it looks like. He's probably got a dad's inside Reiner's trainers here situation going on. Probably right next to him. So big shout out to O Boniface getting a workout next to that. Now he kicks it up to 188. Look at this, 6.2 watts per kilogram, getting his TV time. So got the kiddo, it looks like there, and it's a family affair, it looks like, here in the Boniface house. So good to see. As now we do have another attack, though, off the front, as he did get caught. So Dad's going to have to watch out because he has been caught after making a move now, and it is going to be, it looks like, McGlinchey here off the front, actually. It's going to be Vitas now alongside of Brian Hodges. Evoke goes on the counterattack. Not sure he's going to be able to hang on to this. Gets into a super tuck for a moment here. It's going to be Wildlife General there as well. Now trying to close things down. Davies from the BRT team here. Now Vitas comes through again. Kenway now. A little bit of speed coming on through. Will there be a counter here? And this is a section that's very dangerous. Everybody's heart rates, 183. They're all going to be extremely high at this point. Anybody starts attacking up the front with any orange numbers, it's going to have to be a go and a go and a go all through here because the speeds can be high. There's little bumps. And riders, we saw it last lap. This is the exact section of course where you have to watch out and you have to keep the speeds high, though, if you want to make a break happen.
Cormac McGeough out of Durango, Colorado. He's actually an Irishman that's been living in Durango for a while, rides for that Wildlife Generation team. This is really interesting to see now. Nathan, people have been asking me over the last week, are there any pro riders that I would recognize doing Zwift? The answer is yes. In this case now, we're starting to see more and more of this. We've already mentioned our friends racing with the Vitas brother team. That is Christopher McGlinchey. He's Irish. Adam Kenway from the United Kingdom. And then another Irish rider, but actually really identify with him as a part of the American race scene. Again, good job out there, Cormac McGeough.
Yeah, great to see.
These are very recognizable names if you're following.
Very, very much so. And, you know, Vitas jumping in here, it's just going to attract more and more. And hopefully we just see there, you know, all of the pro teams really, a lot of the pro teams jumping in and getting that competition between each other, and it is obviously happening here as we see the representation here happening in game with
Nathan. Was that something that you? I'm sorry to jump on you there, my friend. Was that something, Nathan, that you saw as inevitable? Was it something that you looked forward to, or was it something you never really even? Wasn't, you know, what motivated you? Certainly, but pro riders doing Zwift has always been an interesting. I mean, it's one of those things. It seems to bring more eyeballs to what we're doing here. Makes it, I think it legitimizes the effort from these riders. Also, if you know that at the Tour of Utah, Cormac McGeough could ride in a breakaway, it's equally hard for him to get in a break here, racing around Central Park with this level, you know, going against the Vitas brother guys. This is a very strong team out of the United Kingdom here. They have a couple of riders in this field, but does it legitimize this? I guess that's the best way to ask this question. Does it legitimize things for you at all?
So you made a statement. What were you thinking, Nathan? Right, and it's a good question, and maybe a little bit more in depth for a podcast, but a very quick answer is you can find about 4 years ago me saying in conversations both with Eric Min as well as Simon Schofield on the Zwiftcast, probably episode 1, 2, or 3, saying we have a immediacy of viewership to a world that everybody can interact with right off the bat. Without all of the setup of an in real life venue. The costs are low and the exposure is high. I do not the only thing that differentiates this is a pro status badge. That's it. Right. Is something awarded by the UCI, which is 100% awesome. That's a government, that is the government. But the actions and the efforts and what is happening here is not any different than what is happening in real life, except for it is a virtual venue that is immediately accessible to everyone in the world without helicopters, motor, all that other stuff. As you know, there's just some dev that needs to happen in order, and it's already happening in quote unquote regular esports, right? It's obviously already happening in those spaces. The opportunity here now, obviously provided where everybody's socially isolating, now only accentuates what was already happening in a grassroots movement with a new sport. How long did football okay, American football take to get to where it's at. It didn't happen until about the 70s, 80s, or 90s. That was a 50 to 30 year experiment. It's just happening in a hyperbolic chamber now that we saw in esports in the last 10 years, and now we have it with cycling here. So, I mean, that's a short answer to a much longer, in-depth conversation, obviously. But yeah, 4 years ago, I was saying, look, this is definitely something where its own pros. Yeah, yes, there's already status awarded in real life with UCI, which is the governing of cycling. But this is a space where the efforts are the same as in real life pros in some ways. And I do push back a little bit on the use of that status in a way that, yes, it's a different pro. I will say that. I was a mountain biking pro, and that's very different than a UCI Tour pro, but it's a different genre of sport 100%. But we see this new sport developing at its grassroots still. It's very, very young, obviously, extremely young. This game was only in beta, right, like 5 years ago, and it takes a while to build a sport. You need local infrastructure, you need regionalization, you need youth and a tradition of the sport to build, but that's all happening over time here, and we'll see how it goes. It's very exciting to see how it develops. And just this event, amazing event, awesome event, is just one small pebble in a much larger mountain that I think is going to build.
Well, thanks, Nathan. All right, 3R Spring Loaded Race Series. This is the second of 6. We've talked about the results coming out of that first event. Now we're getting down to it, the midpoint of this race. They're doing almost 40K here, 4 laps around Central Park, and they're going to be rapidly coming up on the midpoint here, Nathan. We'll see that 1K to go arch, and then the guys will be coming through the finish area. They'll get a nice little preview here once again, just like in the real world. It's always nice to pay attention, especially to that last K. It's not about your competitors at that point. It's about the terrain. You're racing, just getting a feel, just doing some reconnoitering work. And it is Grupo Compacto. We've been watching Barnes here for the last little while, just kind of hovering near the front. Nobody putting themselves out there right now, and I don't blame them. They, these guys are going to be well aware. For folks that are wondering, are the riders familiar with the other guys? Have they taken inventory? Absolutely, they are. There's no question, Nathan. Just like you yourself are going to know, the strengths and weaknesses of these riders. It's really, oftentimes, it's not about your strength, but trying to figure out what the other guy's weakness is out here when you're winning at this level. Nathan, it was a group of 9 that came to the line together last week out of this group. I expect this group to pretty much hold together on this classic Central Park course that we're racing on here. Midway point coming up now.
We do see Jay Barnes here from Innovation now, coming out of New Zealand. This is a very strong rider, actually. I haven't seen him in a lot of the racing recently. He's jumped in a couple of the Twitch streams recently saying he's getting back into it, so that's really great to see. Zimmerman now making his way to the front, as well as Gavin Hughes there, coming from the WTRL team as well. Now, a quick little shout out to those that are out in the world of Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. You can bring your chatter right on in if you have questions, comments. I do see a lot of people interacting with each other. If you have anything pointed directly at the broadcast that you would like to chat about, let us know. If you have any who you think is going to be the winner of the race or who you'd like to cheer for, you can do that as well. I am actually seeing, it looks like Jacob Wilson saying, "Go Wilson." Here, bringing that on in. So if you would like to be highlighted in the broadcast with anybody, we do like to bring in your questions or comments. You can also tweet at us at ZCommunityLive, at ZCommunityLive. Now we do see Henderson. It looks like as long as Gavin Hughes making his way to the front. It's also going to be Esther Hughes in there out of South Africa at 3.4 watts per kilogram steady. Eddie here at this point. Reese now here. Rowan King did not recognize, actually, for a moment there, getting a little TV time and letting us know that he's in the race out here. Now, Wildlife Generation now making his way to the wheel there of the Rowan King rider. This could be a threat. 3 get out the 4th, get out the front here with these riders involved. As we were talking about UCI Continental teams, here's another one here. Rowan King now, 190 beats per minute, looking to jump on. Boniface now, though, from the dropouts, making sure that they shut things down pretty quickly as we head into that section, of course, that he was off the front last. We got about a lap and a half to go, well, a lap and 3/4 to go, as they are pushing the pace on this 1% uphill gradient where it is definitely a false flat. And these are the sections where everybody's got to match the wattage, similar to what we saw in Yorkshire last week with that steady uphill grind. Not quite as much as that 4 to 5%, but it's long enough here to put some pressure on the pack.
All hands on deck right now. No doubt about it. You can feel the pressure in the group here as these guys are turning the screws right now. This is a tough part of the race. This is what makes Zwift racing, I think, a little bit tougher than in real life. Is this moment doesn't really happen that often this far out now. Remembering that we've got, somewhere close to 17K left here. This is a real surge happening right now, Nathan.
Yeah, and I think with this 4 off the front, this is a couple extra
Now
bodies
backing
here.
off. Yeah.
I think with this many in the front here, with a 5-second gap, if they're willing to work together, they could make something happen here. We are seeing, it looks like
It's the right number of guys.
It is, exactly.
That's for sure.
5 actually involved, and it looks like Relentless here with Wilson. He got a little bit of TV time. It looks like that cheering there coming from Jakob was helping him out. Now Hughes here, 9.5 watts per kilogram. They're serious. They're holding on to each other's wheels. This looks like it may be able to work. 3 seconds. Richards only 2.8 watts per kilogram from the 3R team. Now we do see Davies making his way to the front. He can see that there's a threat, and I think Davies here wants to press this pace, does not want this to stick as we get the 3R boys and BRT working together to try and shut this break down.
Yeah, so again, we mentioned Cormac McGee. He's one of the riders really pushing through right now. These guys have got the sledgehammer out. Look at them motoring. Now, one of the things that we've learned is everybody just keeps trying to push through. Peloton not going to give a lot of leash here, though. They don't want to play around with these guys. Wow, what a dynamic moment in the race, and we still have quite a ways to go. But these guys are having at each other's throats out here right now. Again, best of racing happening here around Central Park here. That's your front group that we're watching. So Reese is there. McGeo's there. Yeah, these guys are all in right now.
Yeah,
shows the Peloton.
It looks like it's going to get shut down, though, as it almost always does on these sections. I mean, it puts some pressure on, but now the riders that are at the back that have been sitting in, they are going to have a counter move for sure. They're going to actually have the opportunity for a counter move. It's going to be whether or not they want to. I did see Wetstein there, actually. Watch out for that rider. I think that's a dark horse on the day, as well as, as Stevie Young. Maybe not as much of a dark horse. Obviously, Canyon ZCC always very involved. They do not have the numbers in the race out here today, but with Wetstein, I do believe he is an in real life pro as well, at least an elite rider that I'd be watching out for, coming out of Switzerland, as we do see him putting out 6.3 watts per kilogram. Very quiet so far on the day, but definitely a rider I think that is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, most likely involved at the end of this race, if able to make some pressure. Lap and a half to go. This is always the section of the course you need to be watching out for. Davies toward the front now. Brandt now. This is a move here from Indoor Specialists. Watch out for this. At Matt Brandt and Davies on the front, 9.2 watts per kilogram. They waited till this moment, until the legs had some sting in them. And now Brandt at the front, 7.9, 190 beats per minute coming out of the US of A. The Indoor Specialist here hammering away, 191 now. Gleason looking to shut it down. Christensen's there as well. Canyon Blorhumps actually is CBH here still involved. There are so many riders coming out of the woodwork, actually. G. Mills there from Keelan, from Ribble is actually in here as well. I did not recognize up front all these names popping up all of a sudden that were hidden in the pack. So many riders jumping in here on this 3R race out here today.
Yeah, Christopher McGlinchey's certainly been impressive. Davita's brother rider, he's been up in the mix. Boy, these guys have got the blowtorch out right now up here on the front as we're watching a very animated race out on lap 3. I mean, they're honing in on the finish line quite quickly here. All right, Nathan. So I don't know how long anyone thinks that they can get to the front and attack this group at this speed. That someone always seems ready to throw themselves on the sword out here.
Yeah, George Mills, I did see a post coming from him, actually. Has been streaming some of his races recently, but it does look like he took third in the Velocity Dig the Bike Fantastic on the 6th. Did a British Cycling Time Trial Series and took 6th place with 5.6 watts per kilogram average for that race, actually. British Cycling Race Series as well, took 24th. I believe that was out on the Innsbruck ring last week. Lots of heavy hitters showing up for that. So I'll be watching out for Keeling here, perhaps looking to try and grab a podium result here in the 3R race. Now we're looking at Christensen, though, making his way to the back, maybe trying to relax a little bit here. 164, taking a risk. Sometimes you need to take the risk, though, to bring the heart rate back down. You know, he's at the back of the pack here, still holding onto the wheels, bringing it back. There are 5.4 as he bumps it up again here, because at the front of this race, now we do see a couple of riders really starting to press. This is a section of the course where you can get a gap going. and I'm seeing if we can bring it in with the rider at the front. Here's Mike Davis here, coming out of the USA, Team Experimental, solid sprinter. He's just going to be sitting in most likely waiting for the moment to pounce. Now at the front, though, it is going to be, again, the dropouts. Boniface now, he waited a lap or two, and now at it again. And it looks like coming across, it will be Christopher McGlinchey here from Vitus, 182, looking to get on the wheel. Now it is going to be WTRL from Belgium trying to shut that down with Pete Jones. Gavin Hughes is there as well. 5 seconds, though, is the gap. These two are off the front again. Looking to come across here. It is going to be orange numbers here coming from Gabalier out of Belgium. Not going to be able to break the pack, though. 4 seconds is the difference. 180 beats per minute. As we got Mike Szymanski, longtime viewer, KRT, coming along. D category. Good to see him out there as he is getting his workout in and hanging out in the broadcast, watching along on the live stream. Always good to see the KRT rider, longtime viewer, Szymanski, and supporter of the broadcast. But going across, it does look like it's going to be Matt Brandt. Thinks this move is going to work. Hodges, KRT, looking to go with there too. 3 off the front there, and they have a gap. It looks like the pack, though, might shut this down. They've really got to keep the speed up right now, but it looks like Boniface doesn't have anything left as he's hit almost, I believe, 180 for a moment. Looks like Christopher's still involved, though. 168, not going to go with the Ghost just yet, but it looks like it's shut down, Dave, with 1 lap to go.
Yeah, those would be 3 riders. If those 3 can't make it work, I don't know how anyone could. As you're looking again at Christopher McGlinchey, the Irish rider, he's one of the 2 Vitus brother riders here in the red jersey. The green jersey is going to be Brett Boniface, but as soon as you say that, it's all back together. So they're absolutely swarming at the front here as they're just about to get the bell, Nathan, as they'll be out on the last circuit here around Central Park. Boy, we've seen multiple strong riders rolling off the front, no one getting anything that you consider a legitimate gap at this point. Just a handful of seconds out there. It's cover and kill over and over here. Taking a look again, that green jersey omnipresent on the front, Nathan. It's only a matter of time until that green jersey is going to change into, I'm sure, whatever they've got in the works. But that's certainly, when you see that jersey, you know that the speed's going to be high. And there you go. Setting the pace right now. It looks like a bit of a washing machine at the front. Riders rotating through.
Yeah, Cunningham there, actually. For some reason, Cunningham keeps punching the pace a little bit at the front. It's interesting to see. I wonder if he senses that some of the pack at this point is struggling. They may have a DS in their Discord at this point, giving some directions, saying, look, these heart rates are high. Do not let up the pace. Messineo making his way to the front, 166 beats per minute. Now Leandro, Team ZF now starting to take over. Looks like it's going to calm down as we head through this little sprint section. Nobody really caring too much about how fast they do the sprint because it's going to be all about the breakaways. No points on the board
right
out here today, I believe, for those sections. So now to the front, it's going to be barred there from 3R, all still involved. Unfamiliar with Zwift Racing and what's going on out here with all of the teams and the team kits, we always like to inform you a little bit about who's out there. As you can see, Team Sweden there with the SWE on the back there with the yellow and blue kit, yellow writing with the blue kits there. Team Innovation with the little alien on the left-hand side, as well as he makes his way. I believe that is most likely going to be Jay Barnes, as it is. Yep, definitely coming from Team Innovation there with the green alien on the back. There's a couple other riders there from Innovation right around him. It does look like that is going to be... I'll have to take a look through here as they do rotate through on the group riders nearby. Team Turbo obviously in with the turbo on the back there and the bright orange sun. That's going to be the purple and dark black kit there as well. Rowan King obviously with the in real life replication. Vitus is out there as well with the red and black. Plenty of team kits. Canyon ZCC, hard to miss them, Dave. Look at the bright pink and purple as always. And they've got the one rider out there, though, Stevie Young. With an uphill sprint, can Stevie make it happen? I'm not sure. It's a little bit heavier of a rider for how sharp the uphill kick is as we head toward this lap banner in just a moment.
Yeah, it's a heavy sprint, isn't it? Feel like you're going through wet concrete in that last 100 meters. I wanted to give a shout out to Alice Sherritt. She runs the Junior Tour of Ireland, Nathan. It's a great event, something that we need more of. We've documented how cool it is that juniors ride free on Zwift, and a rider like McGlinchey, I'm certain, would have done the Junior Tour of Ireland under her tutelage. He's a young rider here that's been up and in the mix. So, all right, Alice, good to see you out there cheering on these riders that you know in real life as well. I think that's extremely cool here in these tough times that we get to connect some dots. Simon Collard there in the middle of the group, looking quite cagey. You talked about Matt Brandt, Nathan, the American rider. He's going to be one to watch in the finale here today.
Yeah, Matt, I think definitely always one to watch out for. We haven't seen him take an outright win in quite a while, except for in the Missouri State Championship that he participated in the last couple of months and was able to take down that race win. But besides that, for the online so far, has had a couple, I believe, podiums or top fives. But be watching out for him perhaps in this uphill sprint. He's definitely a light rider with a good turn of speed. So this may be a course that favors him. I'm not sure that he's had participation in courses that necessarily favor him in the finale. He is definitely a very strong TT or FTP type rider. If it was climby and punchy, I think that's the place where he does excel. So we'll see as you can see, as we head into it, 8% uphill gradient. This is the section. Now for the finale, look at this, 6%, 7%, 8% gradients at times. This is going to be a very difficult finish as we head into the final lap. Riders are really going to be pressing the pace, though, right now to try and make any kind of dent in the competition, I believe. And you do see it at the front now. And is this Team Finesse or Relentless? I'm going to have to take a look here real quickly at the front. With the WTRL with the bright yellow kits now, as it's going to be Goodry now making his way to the front there. So that's going to be the WTRL boys in the bright yellow kits with the Tron bikes on there. Looker saying he's just hanging on there, as Richard's 3R now as well, making his way to the middle of the pack. 3R still with plenty of riders, though. This is the race organizers kit, actually, with the World Bicycle Relief on the back. That's the light blue, white, red, white, and blue, and black there. As you can see, World Bicycle Relief on the back of that 3R kit.
I love those guys. I love what World Bicycle Relief is all about. Go buy a bike at worldbicyclerelief.org. So, hey, in that Fred Dreyer article in Velo News, one of the things you talked about, Nathan, is what to watch for out here. And, from what we've seen so far, I'm going to expect Adam Kenway to be involved in the finale, the sprint here. And it's certainly looking likely now. It gets logarithmically harder to attack out of this group as you make your way into the final 5K. I mean, this is maybe the last window of opportunity you have to get off the front of this group. And who have we got going again? Is this going to be Cormac McGeough? It is. He is relentless, this young man out of Durango. Now remember, Cormac is racing at about 6,000 feet of altitude as well, so he certainly doesn't have that as an advantage. This group is going to be responding. You can see he's sussing out riders from this group. They're going to have to respond. It is red alert. So Cormac, you can see with the American flag, but actually from Ireland. It's going to be another Irish on Irish now here up on the front. It looks like, Nathan, we might have a group of 3. I said the window was small and closing. I think they just slipped out. All right, here we are in Central Park out on the last lap. McGeough has fired this volley. 2 riders going with him. They've been in the bank. They've got the money, and now they're in the getaway car, hightailing their way around Manhattan, New York.
Yeah, good to see now. Good breakaway situation happening here. They've tried it every lap through this section. It's interesting to see how the pack, the group think that goes on with the peloton. They think, look, we've got that downhill coming. They'll come back, but there's always that risk, the rolling of the dice, by allowing somebody to go like this, thinking it's going to come back. If the pressure is on too much, if they have enough in the tank here to make something happen. Look, it's just sitting at 6 seconds here. Wake Forest here, Team SC at the front, pushing the pace just a little bit to keep the speeds high. But it is going to be McCall. Now, on the front with Gavin Hughes, it's going to be Canada 4i as well there with Dion there. Alex Dion is involved now as well. This is, again, serious riders here that have some firepower that can make something happen. Maybe not riders that could win in a sprint situation, so most likely trying to break things apart. JPV now, Clanox now, trying to shut things down a little bit on the front, 4.5 watts per car, making sure really these little efforts on the front are just making sure it doesn't go too far out. Sagerbrook there, Team Turbo. Watch out for Spencer. Winner at the In Real Life event back in Long Beach, actually, a couple years back. Watch out for Sagerbrook in a full-on out sprint. But the gap now going out. They're out of sight around the corner here. Interesting to see. Will this stick? And it hasn't the last couple of laps now, but perhaps with almost 10 seconds, they get into the arrow. Super Tuck's going to matter. Now bumping it up 66 kilometers per hour. Looking at Law here. Now, Law trying to go across, actually. He thinks this is going to work. Innovation. This is an interesting move. Beglinski in there now. 1 second, though. 5 seconds. Is this going to be shut down? As we hit into the flats, this is going to be the telltale here as they hit this flat section, whether or not they keep the speeds high enough, because the rolling speed of the pack is most likely. Look at how quickly it's coming on. Richards there, 56 kilometers per hour, 47 here. Richards now 51, as you can see. They're going to have to come on through with a huge amount of turn of speed as they hit this uphill now. But no, now it's, again, Excuse me, probably with the name here. I'm totally getting this
Yeah, Cormac
incorrectly.
McGeough attacking here again.
McGeough.
We've talked
Thank you
about
so
him
much.
quite a bit. Yeah, this kid is super today, no doubt about it. I mean, it's just been body blow after body blow from him. But Nathan, you make the point that it is so hard. Here's your counterattack going. Looks like a dropouts right. It's going to be Brett Boniface, the Canadian, coming up and over the top. All right, it has turned into an absolute Donnybrook here. We just got a little more than 6K until this one is done and dusted, Nathan. Now, this is what we're talking about. Bike racing at its very best going on right now. What more could you want than this? We've got two riders attacking now. It's going to be some new names, although that red jersey, that's Venus, isn't it, Nathan? Help me out here. Who's up there with Boniface? It's going to be McGlinchey.
It is Christopher McGlinchey. Yep, it is McGlinchey. IDF, though, trying to get involved. This rider has not been involved at all until this point. Theveno out there now trying to go across as well. Wake Forest there. Now, from here on out, there's two different situations that could play out here. It could get shut down and everybody just calms it right on down and it's just rolling into a sprint finish. But there's opportunity on this course. Look at the upper right-hand corner here. You've got all these little bumps until that downhill section toward the sprint. From here until that downhill section for the sprint, haymaker after haymaker will pay off. Going across from the main pack at this point with in orange numbers, all-out attack to get separation is worth it at this point because this could stick, or you at least put some, you're going to do damage no matter what. It's a great time to start rolling the dice. If there were chances, this is it. People are tired. The terrain says it. The heart rates say it. Everything is the perfect moment, but that's what's all about in bike racing, right? Is about the perfect moments, knowing where people are at and what is that threading of the needle of the fitness and those percentages between you and the other riders and how much they can handle. They've got to push the paces, though, now. It's got to be haymakers, put people on the ropes, and knock them out.
That breakaway was the perfect cross-pollination between in real-life racing and esports, and it didn't work, Nathan. They've shut that down. Well, Brett Boniface is still going. You can see that Christopher pulled the pin there. He's gone back into the group. The group is literally exploding right now as they're bearing into what you would definitely call the grand finale. Boniface, the Canadian strongman here, showing us what it's like to Canuck up one more time. Now, Nathan, you talked about how this team is one of the smoothest operations in the sport right now. Boniface is clearly riding for his teammates here, trying to put pressure on the other squad, forcing them to chase, trying to take a little bloom off their rows. I think he's done a very good job of that. Oh, again, you can see it's every man for himself. There's no quarter being asked for. There's no quarter being given. And here we go. They're over 35K into this 40K slugfest here around Central Park. This is the last part of the last lap right here, right now, Nathan.
Yeah, and as you can see, riders continue to press the pace here. As you can see, the back start to break up, the echelon out. It's just one straight line. People just looking for any kind of reprieve, trying to grab a wheel here at this point. Now they're going to have a little bit of a slingshot effect here. Those who are at the back who timed this well, Mike Davis perhaps, no, he's not going to give it a go here. I think Zimmerman as well, going to be waiting for that sprint. Zimmerman, I believe, has won on this course many a time. This actually really suits Adam Zimmerman. Very lightweight rider, huge amount of turn of speed actually, with the kind of weight that he's got as well as the kind of kick he has. He might not have the pure like 1500 watt, 1300 watt raw wattage. He's got that more, but he's got the watts per kilogram. And that's what's going to matter on this kind of a sprint because it hits 8% at a certain point in that uphill punch. It's really going to suit a rider like that. And I think Zimmerman's just been waiting and waiting. We have not seen him stick his nose into the wind once. We did see his teammate Brian Hodges a little bit there. Hodges as well, another light rider that will, I think both of the Evoke boys, they might go 1-2 here. We'll have to watch out because they've been very quiet, waiting for the right moment. You can see the white kits there with the black writing on the background, going up the right-hand side of the pack right now. Look at that. Exactly on time almost here. There goes Zimmerman. A little bit of a slingshot actually there perfectly. Only 2 watts per kilogram. This boy knows how to ride this game so well. And now Zimmerman back at 3.9 here, as you can see. Day there, dropouts. Now on the front, though, again, it's going to be again, Connor's Wildlife Generation off the front again.
Relentless. This man is unbelievable out here today. Again, it's win or die trying for Cormac McGeough. This is his third attack here in the last 2 laps. I tip my cap to you, Cormac. Again, he's racing up in Durango, Colorado. Zimmerman is such a good pick there. I mean, certainly, I think if you talk to the odds makers, that he'd be the guy that I'd be looking at. Cormac McGeough will not go down quietly. I love the heart that he's showing. Now, this is a rider, again, Wildlife Generation, a team based out of California. They race race at the continental level. If you remember the Jelly Belly team, that was Cormac rode with that team before he's moved on to this Wildlife Generation squad that's all run by Danny Van Out, one of the most respected directors in American cycling. This is an in real life star in the making, and he's down to it a little over 2K. This man's going to be turning himself inside out. Again, solo rider here, Cormac McGeough of the Wildlife Generation team. Now you got to think the Vetus boys want to battle him. This is going to be brilliant racing from here on in. It is on like Donkey Kong in New York City.
We're getting all of the predictions coming on through here as we head into the final few. Go, Bed and Jones we're seeing here as well. Some people calling out dangerous breakaway. We'll see if it's going to be able to stick as well. Lots of people chatting away in chat. Let us know who you think is going to take the win out here today, as it looks like McGeough does get caught. We're heading into the final few K. It's going to be a left-hand turn, a couple of little sidewinders, and then we're coming into the final K in just a moment here, as we got riders slowing right on down. It was haymaker after haymaker. It was not able to split. We're going to have this left-hand bend, and then it's going to be, I believe we're at 38 kilometers so far. So it's going to be a little bit over the initial. We're looking at 48:20 is the prediction for the A riders to finish. So we're about 1 minute out from the finish here at this point, a little bit under 1K, I believe, as it comes right on down now. Bard there toward the front now. 3R. Who's taking over at the front again? Cannondale. Echelon's here. But it is going, the green jerseys now. Watch out for these green jerseys here. Landis here now. From Team Landis, it looks like. Richards there. Wiglinski now taking over. Will Vetus be able to make something happen? But I keep seeing the dropouts with the green jerseys as well. And it's going to be Evoke actually on the attack. Interesting to see. Zimmerman with a little bit of a push now. 5.5 watts per kilogram. I think he's just trying to get the right setup though here, Dave, to make sure that he does not get left out at the wrong time. You can see in the upper left right-hand corner here, in just a moment, we'll be able to see the banner there. There it is with under, I believe, a K to go or so. Everybody's setting up for a sprint.
Yeah, 3R is spring-loaded, and here we go. Welcome to the finale, ladies and gentlemen. It's been quite a battle here. Multiple attacks have gone up the road, but they've been able to snuff everything out quite handily here. It's going to be a sprinter's delight. Nathan, you set the table quite nicely here. It's an uphill sprint. We're going to find out really who wants it more. It's going to be brutal in that last 100 meters. Only one man will lick his plate clean out of this group. Who is it going to be, Nathan? You got to be finding yourself up near the front, but not on the front right now. Positioning is critical. The big surge is about to come. Go ahead and hit ignite.
Here we go. Oh my gosh, Stevie Young with a huge kick now here very early now. Will Stevie Young be able to hold on to this 13 watts per kilogram? We're into the last final 8%, 4%, 3% gradient now, but here comes the pack. Zimmerman 14 watts per kilogram. Will he hold on? It doesn't look like it's going to happen. McGlinski's trying to go to the line, but no. Will he hold? It looks like it's going to be Davis or McGlinski, who's so close. We're going to have to look back at the replay here for just a moment. It was too quick of a turnover. So many men to the line there. Did you see the slingshot there, Dave? At just the right moment.
Wow.
What a kick there to the line. I thought Zimmerman would be able to hold on, but the pack came flying through. And you could see, though, it was really about that slingshot. That's what it was all about, to the line. Let's take a quick here look at this replay, because that's going to give us the answer, I believe. We'll also take a look at the live results over at zwiftpower.com. But quickly here we go. We were looking at Messineo. Young with a very early attack, as you can see. Hodges sitting in 5th place there. Messineo with 15 watts per kilogram, trying to hold on, but look at the watts per kilogram. But it's about the slingshot. It's about the tactics. Young is 13 watts per kilogram. He's doing more than Hodges, but Hodges is still rolling up, as you can see. It really is about the timing, bringing the speed through, not just the power. Everybody, a lot of people say that it's not about tactics on Zwift. You couldn't be more wrong, because Young had more watts per kilogram than a lot of these boys. The timing was a little bit off there, and as you can see, the timing from the other riders using the draft and coming through the draft and into the wind there at the right moment. McGlinski looking to hang on. Hodges, though, with the last kick at 16 watts per kilogram, as you can see, almost holding on to it there. Hodges followed up by Esterhuizen, though, out of South Africa. A new dark horse may have nipped it at the line, followed up by McGlinski there from Vetus, I believe. Davis almost overtook it, but that was the result there, it looks like, between the riders. Let's take a look at zwiftpower.com. What a race, though, Dave. What amazing result.
Well, you see, in these sprints, our winners are putting their nose in the wind for the last 5 meters. I mean, it's timing more so. Again, we talk a lot about this, but the timing is even more critical on Zwift. You had to surf that second wave to get up to the front there. That first surge baits you, I think, almost for some of the sprinters. You've got to be patient, but when it comes time to drop the hammer, you have to have the ability. I mean, look at those numbers. Everybody over 13 watts per kilo in that sprint. That's what it's all about, Nathan. Unbelievable racing once again today. 3R spring loaded series is as good as it gets.
Yeah,
Love
we
it.
do have real quickly here. We may be able to bring in. I know a lot of times, we are we are Zwift Community Live. The whole idea here is that we try and do the breadth of the community. We do have an extra setup here, so we can get the women's races for the upcoming events that do have women's specific races as well. I do have the B category though here in front of me. I'm just trying to find where exactly the front end of the B category is, and if I do have the right boys here out on course. I did see a big shout out to the Revo team as well as I did see, I believe, Williams, some of the Williams girls out there. So good to see them hammering away, I think, in the C category. We'll see if we can find them out on course. But I am trying to find the front end of the Bs as they roll in toward the finish line here, as I've got N. James from Innovation and a few others. If I can find them, you guys, we will cover the finish for at least the B category, but it can be a little bit difficult to find everybody out on course. So we'll see what I can do for everybody there. But let's take a quick look at the results, though, for the A category, as they have come across the finish line. And it does look like it is going to be Bernard. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this in through my desktop here, rather than trying to do it any other way. Just give me 1 second, everybody, as I go ahead and do that. We will have updated graphics coming. You guys, we've been working on them for like the last week or so. Some great development is going down, and we will have updated results graphics as soon as possible. It's just been a little bit of a struggle to get things moved on over so that we can do that. But let's go ahead and show you guys. This is the unofficial results, just so you know. All results are final with the race organizers. But this is zwiftpower.com. If you have not seen zwiftpower.com, this is what it looks like. Make sure to sign up over there for all events that are run by the community. It does look like Bernard Esterhuizen from Kirchmer E-Cycling, followed by Brian Hodges, and then Christopher Miglinski there from Vitus Pro Cycling. Then it's going to be Mike Davis. Solid result there for Davis here, coming from Team Experimental. Haven't seen him out on the results here for quite a while. Deandra Messinil, followed up by Johan Wigforce for Team SZ, James Bars for Innovation, Adam Zimmerman from Evoke there with that late attack, able to take down a solid top 10 alongside Brian Hodges there for that second, as you can see. Frederick Munir there coming from Cannondale 4, and then the top 10 is going to be routed up by Johan Gren in the A category. Real quick, now the B category, I am trying to find out on course these front runners, but so far have been unable to do so, as I am running along with N. James and a few others. I think they're sprinting to the line actually as we speak with Batchelor, Whaley, and a few others. It does look like Show here coming from Ali Evo is going to go to the line, I think, in first place for those boys in the B category. So solid result here. It looks like Shoei, followed
It's
up by
gonna be
RB
close.
from Dirt. Yep, right to the line there. Bark there from Innovation there. It looks like Becker as well. So that is the situation there for that B category. Glad to always try and cover as much as we possibly can between all the categories, you guys. We'll try and bring in more as we get more setups. I'll try and have 2, 3, 4, so we can cover all of the categories as best as we can. Again, though, trying to bring in too many categories can kind of make it a little juncated, can kind of feel all over the place. So we'll do our best with it, though. But amazing result there, though, obviously, coming from the Kirchmer Cycling. Bernard Esterhuizen, though, a rider I'm not super familiar with here, Dave. A dark horse amongst the boys here. We said Evoke, though, was ones to watch out for, and they definitely took down that second.
Nathan, they're coming out of the woodwork right now from around the world. I love it. This is the best time ever to get involved in esports here on Zwift. To be honest, someone with your experience, for someone to show up on your radar at this level, it speaks to me about two things. There's a lot of established riders you want to watch, but also remember, and again, for folks that are new to this is really the validated racing. You're going to see it can be pretty wide. It's the wild, wild west out there right now as far far as events on Zwift, but these are the guys that are using heart rate monitors, are really validated, I think is the best possible word. You can trust what you're seeing when you watch these 3R spring loaded races. And, I mean, again, things that really help validate it for me is watching a guy I've watched out on the roads at races like Redlands or Tour of the Gila here in North America. As I just saw Mike McCarthy was joining us, a world champion from New York who rode on these roads and part of the Zwift family. Well, the legitimacy here, when you see a guy like Cormac attacking 3 times and getting smothered very quickly, tells me that the level is high, but everything seems to be really clicking right now with this sport. You can feel good about a win out here, no doubt about it, because you're going up against some monsters in this A field, or the B field for that matter.
Yeah, and it's a good point. I mean, the race organizers do a great job. So after the fact, a lot of times, if anything does need to be called, it will be called by the race organizers. That's who we like. We like to partner with those who are doing the work and get their work out there in front of the broadcast. Now, we are seeing some questions coming on through about, do you have a race schedule? And we did release that out on our socials. If you do want to follow along, this is the race schedule for this week. Tonight, we will be live with the Voller Tuesday night races. Somehow we made Tuesday and Thursday mixed up there, though, on this specific copy of it. But as you can see, this is the rest of the week here. As you can see, the 9th is the 9th, just so you know, for the WTRL team time trial. This is, if you want to jump into any of these, though, they will be broadcasted, the broadcast schedule. Obviously, there's plenty of other races out on Zwift that you can jump into. But if you want to get into these are the ones with all of our talents on board. So tonight, Voller, I'm excited for it. We're doing it meetup style. You can check that out over at voller.com/Zwift for all the event details on that. Also, real quickly, we did get a little bit of a facelift over on the YouTube channel. It's a little bit better organized, and all of the upcoming streams for the week are scheduled out either Sunday or Monday, during the day on Sunday or Monday. So you'll be able to check out what all the upcoming streams are and get a reminder on our YouTube as to where you can find that stream. So go ahead and head on over to youtube.com/Zwift Community Live and hit that subscribe button there if you like to watch the VODs there, or you're more into YouTube. We're obviously live on Twitch and Facebook. We like to serve everybody anywhere where they like to watch. So Dave, that's going to be it from us here for the 3R series. Again, if you are looking to be a part of the raffle that Vetus is putting on, make sure to register on zwiftpower.com. They'll be tracking participation through there. Who shout out to Vetus for partnering with the 3R series on that. And Dave, we'll be back for Voller tonight. I'm excited to see all the pros showing up for that. We've got Payson McKelvin, former national champion on the mountain bike. We've got, I believe, the Tipco team is jumping in there. I got some messages coming in through from all kinds. I mean, it's blowing up about tonight as well. I've got Voller on the line with Brian Trapp as well from their marketing. I've got Madwale jumping in here, letting me know how well the organization's going. So I'm excited for the race tonight. It's going to be all out TT, though. What do you got for 45 minutes straight?
Yeah, I love it. We have such a unique format. That's going to be tonight. Again, thanks to Volley. Brian, you have been great as well. So we're going to have a ton of fun with that one. Boy, it is Tuesdays are my favorite day of the week now. No doubt about it. We get to have a lot of fun. And thanks again to the 3R team for hosting us today. I love what you're all about. And thanks for supporting World Bicycle Relief. They do some really, I know all of our friends at Zwift have been super supportive of WBR as well along the way. So keep it up, everybody, and be safe out there. Nathan, thank you. You are a rock star.
Yeah, I appreciate it, everybody. Thanks to all the viewers. Great job to all the riders out there. And we will see you later tonight. As always, everybody, ride on.